Just checking out the boxes. Hello. Welcome to Z Reviews. I'm your host, Cios Pantera. And don't forget to check out Hi-Fi Guides and Hi-Fi Guides Forum, and don't forget to check out the Patreon subscribe star. How you doing? All right, so Mimic Cable was nice enough to send me not one, but two pairs of the new Audezes, the 2020 revisions of the LCD-X, which the original version I loved. In fact, here's an original pair from a fan of the show and a friend, Joe. These are his pair, which has been stuck here for a while. Oh, no, wait, I'm wrong. This is Joe's pair. You could tell because there's a mod mic thing on it. And I have a hard time listening to them, which is interesting. I've been switching back and forth between, I have the Burst & Soloist 3X here and the Singzer SA1. And I had one plugged in one plugged in the other, and I'm like, oh, they sound different. Then I reversed it and went, oh, they sound different in the opposite way. Shit. So they're not super amp dependent. Someone asked me like last week if they're really amp dependent. I'm like, not really, but you can definitely tell the difference between two amplifiers. And I'm not using balanced on them. I'm going to use balanced on this because these are the cables they come with. And frankly, they're really nice. Not balanced. I kind of wish they did just like IEMs do, where it comes with one of these standard-ish connectors and then adapters. But no. Full fuck you, 1/4 inch, like long, with heat shrink out to here. So that's the length of your connector. And it's a weaved, 4-weave vinyl. Very, very, very riding crop level, hot teacher sort of beat you with this wire. I don't hate it at all. Into a nice splitter here, periapt, pay attention, this is a nice splitter too. This is always so chunky. And it goes up into the standard, they haven't changed the connector, it's always going to be that same fucking stupid connector, which is the mini XLRs. And I've been going back and forth, and I was originally going back and forth with the stock pads on Joe's set, the old set. These are the stock pads, and they're a little bit gummy and falling apart. And Mimic also included, I'm not sure if this is just them including it to say that, hey, we have sets of them, but they included two different brand new pairs of pads. These feel like protein leather, and those feel like actual leather, or these feel like actual leather. And they have the peel-off backs for sticking it on, because of course, Audeze makes you glue the fucking pads on, because everyone wants that, right? And they also included an entire packages, or two packages, of these little, like, weird slit things for putting around and doing around the inside of the cup. And that was nice of them. But the one thing I did notice is that Joe's original pads, these are definitely memory foam. You can see it. It's got a nice slow acting memory foam. And the new pads that I have just temporarily hooked on goo. That's either a book or a hentai. Are not memory foam at all. They're just very fast, very soft. Like the materials on the outside are the same, if not improved, but then it's not a memory foam. It's a and I could feel it when I press into it. It's a very airy foam. It doesn't have a lot of density to it, and memory foam is very dense. And I think that's part of the 2020 improvement is that they go away from memory foam to give you this very, very big bubble foam, I want to call it, which is, it's so easy to push, and it's like, wow, but it still has some strength to it. And I think that's helping with the tuning. So I put the old set of cans, because I was literally able to tell the difference I was like, why are the old ones so much more uncomfortable? These new ones feel like they weigh less. And I'm standing here, well, I'm sitting here, going like this, going, but there's no weight difference between the old ones and the new ones. Not in my hands, I put them on my head, it doesn't feel right. So it was literally the pads being this dense, harder foam, holding the cup away from my head and pushing against it, and I was like, oh god. So I swapped out to the new ones. Now I can't tell them apart by feel, except if you notice this one is extended like way down, the new one is extended way down, and the old one, which should be identical, is extended way up. And I don't know why, because we have the same gapping here. So either they change the headband length, which there are definitely different holes. The old one had many holes, the new one has fewer holes. I'm trying to judge the width of that. Like I need a micrometer and shit to do this. It doesn't matter. It's going to fit your head either way. I'm going to put the old ones to the side because from what I can tell, if you swap pads on the old ones you can get within 95% of the new one sound on the closed back. We're going to get to the open back. In fact, there's a time code, Zeos, 2 chapters in this whole fucking video, real complicated. Talking about the open back, talking about the closed back. And the closed back section should be about 8 seconds long, because it's gonna be like, this is the greatest fucking have fun, and then I'm done. But we're still talking about the this one. So I gotta pick which amp. Oscar's on this one. I don't, the Burstyn is just the Burstyn's so silver. So let's plug this in. If you've never seen the Audeze headphones, they come in a case. They've changed to this case, which I think looks very, very cool. Looks like the Tesseract is supposed to be in this. It's got weird numbers: 2017, 205, 9X, 18, 24X. I like that. I like that. It's much more, it's less like I'm going to the African jungle and more like I'm traveling, and it's a little slightly smaller, but still nice case. That clicks open. Here was the bag for, I think, the pads. Here's the thing that goes inside. There's a silica packet. We've got some cards that say serial numbers on them. Certificate of authenticity. User and guide downloads. What the hell? Where's the thing? Oh, they don't even give you a QR code? God damn it, Audeze, you're an American company. You speak English. I hope you're watching this. You have people who watch just your videos, right? If you're going to give someone a plastic piece that says, here's where the user guides are, give me a QR code so I can pick up my phone and go, boop, and then it'll just take me there instead of this thing. You could even have it, like, be the logo inside the QR code if you pay enough money. Anyway, yeah, beautiful case. I love how it's specifically, it doesn't just feel like a case that they bought and like, all right, it's for headphones now, because the entire outside is lined with thin foam. This is a personally cut. It's not like pop outs. Wires in here. In fact, what's that? The keys for the case, in case you want to actually lock it. They're very weird, cheap keys. But then they have this piece in between. They've like custom cut it so that it presses down just on the cups. It just feels nice. It's a nice case. Boom, one press, put it on the ground. We're done talking about it. The headphones themselves, made in America. Audeze can be a bit of a pain in the ass, not to get hold of, but like they used to sell the vegan pads, which everybody loves. If you had Audeze vegan pads, the brown ones, and you put them on certain headphones, people are like, oh my God. In fact, are they up here anymore? Yep, they're there. There they are. Those are my M1060Cs from Monoprice. And they have custom backs, and they have Audeze fucking vegan pads. And I had to buy them from a weird site that I never heard of, because they wouldn't sell you to you anymore unless you owned these and could prove you owned them. And it's like, but just, what if you only sell 1,000 of these, but 10,000 people want to buy your pads to put them on other things? Still seems like you're selling fucking 10,000 pads, bro. All right? Unless you just reserve the 1,000 pads in case the people who own your headphones want to buy it, and sell to everybody. Sell everything to everybody. People are not buying Audeze stuff because they could buy the pads. Just sell the pads. Brainwaves figured that out. Brainwaves tried to make good headphones forever, and they succeeded like twice, and they were but their pads, holy shit, those took off, so they still sell pads to this day. Audeze should sell pads, and they should sell them. They were $100 fucking. It wasn't like they were cheap. Anyway, a little bit of a rant is over now. They're metal planars. They have the worst. This is the worst thing that's ever been put on a headphone. It is a screw with a lock washer behind it that gets screwed into the adjustment yoke, or, well, not this adjustment stalk, I guess. And then they have steel on top, stretchy steel. I actually have a couple of these over there. Screw it, let's get up and get one. Because there was a sale. Someone got me them for half price. And they're very simple. Here's the steel one with the many holes, which is probably, actually this has, no, this is the same as Joe's one, the old one. This is the many hole. That's why they sold them probably for half price, because they were changing to the new one. So here it is. Look how dainty it is. It's a little baby thing. And this is the steel one. And then here is the expensive carbon fiber one, which is legitimately lighter and was like $100 even at half price. So the really expensive Audezes have carbon fiber up here. Just wanted to show off that I own those. Eventually I'll do something with them. And this screw, the reason it's the worst thing ever, will occasionally get loose and you won't notice it. And all of a sudden, this piece of metal, which is very basic and probably a little bit too thin, for like the stresses that are on this joint here, will bend and bend out, and all of a sudden the headphone won't fit right, and you won't notice it. And then as soon as I found out, like I think Joe brought those over, I'm like, why don't these feel good at all? I tightened that screw up and it felt perfect. So every like time you pick them up for your entire fucking life is gonna be pick them up, check the screw against the high contrast screen to see if it's loosening up, or you got to tighten it, set it to Friday. Oh, it's Friday, time to tighten my Audeze screw. And then it's fine. The actual stalk that clicks up and down, there is a little lock thing here that holds the ball bearing, that holds pressure against it. It goes click, click, click. And you can tighten or loosen that with that. And I've known people to set it to that where they want it, and they tighten that so you can't move it. At least I think that's the way it used to work. There are places that sell replacement straps. I know that Understated Leather Montreal, I have one of their replacement straps, and I use it for my GoPro when I'm live streaming. I left that upstairs. I should have brought that down. Well, I don't want to pull these pads off. I think it's the same internal as the old one, so I'll just rip Joe's off. I'm going to rip it off, Joe. Ripping it off. Boom! You can see the phaser array here, which is basically a plastic cover that has wings so that it can direct the air to be straight. It doesn't look different through those pads. Again, the pads are glued on, so I don't feel like destroying them, since Mimic Cable sent them over and like, hey, we're going to want these back. And it's like, all right, don't yank them apart. Gotcha. They're a little bit weighty. The old ones with the old pads feel heavier than these new ones. These new ones are not light by any means. They're just chock full of metal everywhere. But with the new pads that are softer, they also, the headband's probably newer on this new pair. That makes sense when new things come from. So it's clamping a little bit harder, so it's keeping it closer to my head, so I can still like look around and it doesn't feel like it's gonna flop onto the table. The very first pair of LCDXs I got were a very used pair, and you went like that, it just fell off onto the table. This actually feels like it's holding on. We'll get to the closebacks in a bit. And I guess now that I'm done talking about the build, and the mini XLRs, and it's like, okay, comfort is there. It's just a giant headphone pad, and it's kind of heavy, and I like to tilt the bottom out, like it constantly wants to like crush it on the bottom, but it's like, all right, how do they fucking sound, Zeos? I should probably put a timestamp for that too. Mushroom Hunting from Yoko Kanno from the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. These are still one of the best headphones you can buy, period. And having listened to almost every headphone Audeze makes, including the LCD4 and LCD3 and LCD2C, and these are the best headphone Audeze makes. It's certainly the best tuned that they make. I think everything else in the range is trying to be different, and they got it right here, and they got it right at, let me see what the price is on Mimic, 1 second. Because these are, there are the close back, here are the opens. $1,700. And you're thinking, Zeos, $1,700, are you mad? And I'm like, I'm not really that mad, because that's what they've always been. And the point is that there's $2,000, $3,000, and $4,000 headphones that Audeze makes, and these are better than those. They just are. Every detail comes, like you put them on, and it's like, oh fuck, these. It's just these. You put on any music. I'm gonna switch tracks. Hold on. Less volume. Billy Goldrum, Razor Boy, from Me, Myself, and Irene. I want to hear every song. Again, like I've heard all these songs. No. Play them again. Play them again now on LCDX. This was the headphone that I made the argument for. I will reiterate the argument. String Quartet Enya. Cursum Perfessio. Oh, fuck. The argument was, why are people okay and brag about spending $2,000 on a television, aka my Sony OLED that's upstairs. I could tell my neighbor that. I could tell my family that, and they go, "Ooh, I'm impressed." Or if I got to change my fucking refrigerator out, I spent $3,000 on a refrigerator. Or I bought a new fucking veranda for the fucking side of my garage. It was only $4,500. All those things, all those big expenditures, people are fine with that. But as soon as you bring up to say, "Hey, I just spent $1,800 or $1,700 on a headphone," you're a fucking crazy person. Because most normal people can't even fathom that amount of money on a headphone. Aren't headphones cheap? Don't they give them out on airplanes? And the argument is, if you're going to use something like a dedicated headphone, as much as you'd use your only most expensive fucking... Like, I sit on my computer desk, I interact with very few things. I interact with the monitor, which I usually spend money on. I interact with the keyboard, which I usually want to have like white box keys. I interact with the mouse, which I want to have like 97 things. I have the SwiftPoint Z mouse. And I'm going to put on either speakers or headphones. One pair. Most normal people have one pair. I have a problem. And if you're going to interact with it, not just physically, it's like a mouse you touch, a keyboard you touch, and a monitor you look at. A headphone is two senses. It's touch and sound. You don't touch the monitor. You don't hear the mouse. You kind of hear the keyboard, actually, so that actually has two sounds. But if it's dealing with two of your senses for an extended period of time throughout a day, spend the fucking money. It's like if you're walking around in boardrooms with shoes. I've had cheap dress shoes, like $50 to $60 dress shoes. I went out and bought a $200 pair of dress shoes. Italian leather. Fucking, like, hard as fuck to get on. You got to use one of those horns. But once they're on, they're the best fucking shoes I've ever worn. So, should you spend money on things like dress shoes? Yes. Should you spend money on things like headphones? Yes. If you're going to use them all the time, and you can afford it, for the fucking love of God, do not come to this channel and be like, "Oh, Zio said I got to spend $1,700 on headphones. I guess we're going to have to sell the baby, Jarn." Jarn? I was going with John, and then it was like, no, Joan. Because I'm like, why would the mother... I guess the wife could want headphones, too. Whatever. "John, we're going to have to sell the baby. I need these headphones. Zio said so." No. There's plenty of headphones. Harmonic Dyne Zeus. I'll say it over and over again. Get Harmonic Dyne Zeus and don't look back. Or actually, don't look forward. Look back. Look back to cheaper things. Get the fuck out of this fucking game, because I'm going to tell you to buy these. Because they are legitimately fucking world-ending headphones. They are just out of reach of, like, mortal men. Like, where $1,700 seems like, way too much money to spend on a headphone. But if you understand my argument as to why you should spend that much money, because it's one of those, like your chair. Herman Miller Aeron chairs. I got them refurbished on eBay for $500. But I'm fucking sitting in them. Two of them. One in my office and one here. And my ass deserves the best. So doesn't your head deserve the best? Now, there are plenty of comfortable chairs, but, you know, Eames loungers and stuff, those are like the super fucking high end. Aerons are like the workhorse, and these count as like the workhorse. I think everyone could be very, very happy in their entire life with this. Just this, grab one and go, fuck it. Grab one and fuck it. I mean, don't actually physically make love to it, but you might be tempted to. I'm just saying it's possible. Anyway, back to how they sound. I should go back to the last song. Oh my God. So String Quartet Enya. I've never had strings playing on my soul before. Like, this is Stax big. If you never heard Stax, I know that means absolutely fucking nothing to you. Chewbacca, what does Stax sound like? I couldn't have said it better myself. Give you the loves. Give you the loves. All right. They exude a presence that is bewitching. They're one of those headphones that if a person doesn't understand good headphones, someone's only been listening to Beats Pros, and they got these Bose noise-canceling headphones. They think they're great. You put LCD-Xs on them. You plug them into a decent amplifier. It doesn't have to be the greatest amplifier on earth. It's just decent. This is a $1,200 amplifier. This is a $600 amplifier. I got tons of the tubes and then ones over there, the Ukrainian ones. You put them into something nice. You put on something that is well recorded, because that's sort of the key. A lot of people who listen to Beats and Bose and fucking all listen to the same shitty Spotify playlist all the time. You blow their fucking mind with some string quartet Enya. You sit them down. You ruin them. Ruin them. More damage than I could ever get by watching my channel. If you've watched my channel for years and you haven't bought a fucking thing, A, raise your hand. Who are you and why are you here? B, have someone put LCDXs on your head. And all of a sudden, all the things you didn't understand will make fucking sense. What does Zeos mean by presence and impactfulness and smoothness in sound delivery? What does that mean? What does it mean my wallet's gonna be on fire? Why would my wallet ever be on fire? It's made out of 100%, what's that shit that gives you cancer? Asbestos. I have an asbestos wallet. Why would my wallet ever catch fire? Oh, because I put these on your head and I did this. Like, oh, fuck. I didn't know they could do that. I didn't know ears could do this. Did you know ears could do this? I didn't know ears could do this. That's the sort of thing that these things put out. That is the level of, like, takes your breath away sometimes with music. And I'm trying to think of other headphones that I've given this sort of, like, let's just face it, exaggeratory praise to recently. And I haven't done headphones recently. I've been stuck in a swamp of amps upon amps. And I love amps. Don't get me wrong. I love this amp. Asuka's on it. And I love this amp because I love this amp and the top is now acting as a heatsink since it's attached. And DACs or whatever. But headphones, this is the final. If you had $1,000 to spend on a desktop setup, and you had to ask me how you should spend it, and you wanted the absolute best quality, I would kind of steer you towards $990 fucking headphones and a $10 dongle, an Apple dongle. I'll link the $8 Apple dongle in the description because it's good enough as a source. It's good enough. You put all your fucking money on the headphone, and the rest will come naturally as you lose your mind. It's like tires on a car. When I got my Caprice, it had stock Goodyear cop tires that were like 235s all around. And I drove the car and it was fine. It was like, oh, it's a big boaty car. Woo, we're sliding. And then I spent all my money on tires. On, you know, what are the best tires? Not Continental. BF Goodrich? Pilot Sports? Michelin Pilot Sports. The PS2s, whatever. It's like fucking $600 for a pair. And I will never go back to cheap tires. Because as much as I put money into that car for engine and exhaust and suspension, take it all away, make sure I have $1,000 in tires. Because that's, you just feel it. It's the only part that touches the road. And when that gives you confidence, it doesn't matter how many horsepower your car has. You'll just whip it everywhere. And these give me confidence that, oh, these are the best. This is it. This is where I need just never less than this. Now I'm going to start worrying about, okay, maybe my song quality isn't good enough. Maybe I should get off of Spotify or go to Spotify Hi-Fi. Maybe I need to get a Tidal subscription. They support MQA. We don't support MQA here. We start downloading FLAC legally from HG Tracks and Bandcamp. And then maybe I should get a better amplifier because, you know, I'm using that Apple dongle that Zeo's linked in the description of that video that one time. And maybe something nice, Zendac, $200. Start here. Live here. Make sure you aren't eating ramen, you bastards. Oh, Zeos, I bought 3 of your recommendations and now I can't eat for 2 weeks. Don't do that. That's dumb. Music is a fun exercise. If you can afford this and, like, not bat an eye, that's fine. I'm moving on from this to that because we'll come back to these, I'm sure. It'll be what happens. I'm going to unplug them. Actually, I don't need to unplug them because I'm going to be plugging these in balanced with this hard audio cable into the Singzer timestamps. Yes, these are the LCD XC. I reviewed the first revision. I love this headphone as much as I love the original headphone. In fact, they've improved it with the pads and the better clamp, and it's all good. Everything's been improved. Everything's been improved. The sound's even a little bit better. Could just be those are worn in more. Great. These. I fucking hated the LCD-XCs. And I love the LCD-X. I love the original LCD-X. So I'm like, oh, closed back version of that? Perfect. Sign me up. Fuck you. They were garbage. Go find my original review and watch it. I was so disappointed. I was so So disappointed. Because it would have been nice to have that sound, but close back. Well, guess what? They fixed it. And a lot of people who have been talking to me about the new Audezes and the LCDs and the LCDXs, why is everyone recommending the close back? Why do they like the close back more than the open back? Because the original close back was hot garbage. And these, am I still on that Enya song? I'm going back to the beginning, hold on. And these are the coldest garbage, I guess. That's the opposite of hot garbage, right? They've actually, I'm going to lower this so I can play the music, because you probably can't hear. Oh, I can mute it by hitting the, I forgot how the thing worked. Oh. These feel weightier than those in the sound delivery. Like, we're in a spec, I can't hear anything. Like, if I'm very quiet, I can hear my air conditioners running. They are just dampened like a motherfucker. And if we move on, all the little details are just tingling around in my head in space. Oh, Elder Scrolls soundtrack. Oh, there's just like, that sound is just bouncing off of walls that are invisible. Just there, here. Am I in a cathedral? How'd I get here? It's so big. For a close back, I can't hear myself talking anymore. I just hear Jeremy Soule. That's it. Just the sky is fucking playing in my heart. I want to get to that loud part. They Live soundtrack. Portal. Wait. Okay. There's a flaw in these headphones. There is a flaw. Let me block that from blinking because I know it's probably bothering the crap out of you. The flaw in these headphones is that now I hear everything. Whereas the open back were sort of like smooth and open and like relaxed yet intense. These use this shape on the back to focus all the song's flaws forward. Because, I mean, I was on that Jeremy Soule song and I'm like, oh, this is a little harsh and a little weird in this area. Switch to the next track, perfect. Switch to this one, I'm like, oh, you know what? I have heard this sound like this sometimes on speakers. These aren't as forgiving as the open back. Beach Boys. Oh, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. There you go. One more. Yeah, this is almost an uncomfortable level of being in the music. Yet I want to dance to it. Like this Frankie Goes to Hollywood kick drum would probably make me deaf after about an hour of it. I want to rock and roll. Relax. Oh. They've actually managed to capture LCDX in a close back. They failed the first time around. There's still a bit like the highs, you're in there with it now. It's like being in a zoo, and it's one of like the Bronx Zoo where it's just tigers are over there and it's a big open area. And now they've closed that open area and there's still tigers and there's no fences between you and the tigers. So you still have the same distance to tiger. There's tiger over there. But it might come and kill you. Maybe. Oh, the Tarantella from fucking Inglourious Bastards. Chuba da chuba chooby tubes. Oh, the baby goopers. Baby goop. I'm listening to the Tarantella, baby. I think what impresses me the most is how dead in the sound is. Because you put them on and everything goes away. And when you put on, open back headphones, you put them on, hopefully your environment's quiet enough. It doesn't matter with these. If you work at an office and you want to do what I said about these, where you fuck people up, but you don't want to bother people, get the clothes back. They're $100 more. They're a $1,700. Were those $1,600? These are $1,700. These are $1,800. Damn it. I wanted to guess lower. Well, I think I'm going to read from the specs. 106 millimeter transducer, maximum power handling, 5 watts RMS. Don't. 20 ohms impedance, which is what fucks it up on regular tubes. Hybrid tubes would be fine. I kind of, you know what I didn't try on this? Or try this on? Chewbacca, I didn't try this on the X-Duo 604. The X-Duo 604 on this, and that's like $160 amplifier. But if you get the 4.4 balance cable like I've got here, like the Heart Audio one, which by the way, I don't know if he makes these specifically, but I have this one specifically 2 thin ones all the way down so that I have no split. And that's the way I like my headphone cables, because this way they have no middle part to drag. You do this on 604s, you might die. There's knocking right now. Soul Coughing's Pensacola. Dun 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 dun. God damn it. See right there, that was, hold on. That like shh came over and it's like, oh, cymbals. Hey Chewbacca, remember what cymbals sound like? Yeah, they're loud. I find myself with this pair absolutely loving them compared to the originals. But I still put my hand next to the volume knob. More than I do so on this. On this, I sort of like set it and forget it. On this, if you change tracks, and it's something with a lot of sharp cymbals and highs, you might turn it down a bit. Just a fucking touch. Just a little baby. And actually, these have... So the new ones here, these have the actual leather. These have the pleather. So if I wanted to swap them, I'd have to yank off the glue, which I don't really feel like doing. Oh, why do they do this? Just use Velcro. Magnets. And blue tack. I will provide you with the blue tack because it costs me about $80 for the whole year's worth of Audeze headphones, especially if I buy bulk. Oh my lord. Actually, I'm going to flip that switch. That fixed it. That fixed a lot of it. Because on the Singzer SA1, it has a high and low Z, and that means load. And it should be on low Z because it's only 20 ohm headphones. But putting it on high Z kills the highs still a little bit. And now we dancing. In fact, wait a second. Where's my... I need to get... Are you here? Why is nothing anywhere when I need it to be somewhere? Boom, there it is. Okay. This is why having Heart audio cables is the best. I'm going to now swap this out with this. I'm going to put a 4.4 oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to put a 4-pin there. We're going to unplug from the Singzer. And we're going to see if the magic of bursts and op amps will also modify this. Can I go back to the beginning of the last track, which is Alt W? Yes. Might like it on the burst and a little bit better. Oof, it's so close. People always ask me, Zeos, what's the best headphone for watching hentai? Or loud porn? These $1,800. You guys gotta live with it, boys and girls. You gotta live with it. You gotta spend $1,200 on your amp. You gotta get a nice DAC that you trust. Spend $1,800 on headphones, and then you're good to go. I find myself, no matter what amp, next tracking more with these than I do with the open backs. The open backs sort of like make everything great. Everything's fucking phenomenal. The closed backs, while extremely improved from the previous revision, still can show you enough flaws in a song that you're like, I don't want to know how bad this gets. Not a negative. People are looking for headphones like that right now. People are searching through the Wikipedias trying to figure out what that's called. What would that be called? What would be your description of that style of headphone? Because it's not just like revealing. I hate that word. It sounds so audiophile. Oh, Game of Thrones. Remember when this show wasn't garbage? Yes. Yes. Truman Show soundtrack, by the way. Like the Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show, where he's in a giant dome. I hear everything the musicians are doing because it's recorded live like... You puking back there, Chewbacca? Good. Jack Reacher still paused. Oh, God, yes. Oh, Jack Reacher, by the way, one of my favorite... It's just one of my favorite movies. Every time it comes on, I just have to watch the whole thing. Yeah. I could see these being an audiophile's last headphone, because once they hear things on it, it's like, oh, it's ruining most of my music, because most of my music is garbage. Thank you, headphone. You've taught me the ways of the fucking Jedi. Love them. Would I have them over the open back? Probably not. I've sat here long enough now that I'm just like, they're a great improvement over the previous ones. Great. Fantastic. But if I had to listen for hours and hours and hours, if I don't have to have a closed back headphone, I tend to not. The only closed backs that I have to use, excuse me, boys, I don't know why those are boys, are the Neumann NDH20s, because these are the ones I use as my monitoring headphones when I'm doing sound demos. And these sound amazing on tubes, by the way. Can you tube these? Only with a hybrid. Or you have to get a very expensive tube amp that can handle the 20 ohm load. Because tube amps want high impedance. So that's what draws the power out of the tubes. So you put on low impedance, it's like, I'm doing weird shit. So, yes, these are fucking gorgeous, by the way. I didn't even mention the fact they look like that. Like, that is legit carbon fiber. Actually, this one has a slight... No, it's not a flaw. Because you could see it wavering right there. And it's just... Oh, my fucking God. I don't mind that there's screws on the outside either, because that just means you could take it off to fix things. Yeah, heavy as balls, by the way. Just heavy and sealed, and my ears are getting a little bit sweaty in them. Wow. Wow. I don't know if you could hear how loud that is, but it was enough. Back to Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It's always Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I think the secret to these headphones that's going to make people who, if you own these or are planning to buy them, turn your volume down. Because I had it at a certain volume for these, and I was overcoming the sound of the air conditioner, and I have like a preference, like a little bit louder. Everyone says, oh, you're playing too loud. Like, no. Metal 571, if you're out there, you should go to trade shows and be like, let me take off these headphones. And then the sun just shoots out of them because it's so fucking loud. God bless that boy. I hope his hearing is okay. But me, I listen slightly on the loud side, and usually only for like the last bit before the review. Because I got to make sure I hear everything that's going on. And with these headphones, you have to come out of reviewer mode. I'm in reviewer mode a lot of the time, in case you haven't figured it out. I do that shit a lot. And I'm trying to like, all right, I got to hear these. I got to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. And then I'm like, oh, you lower these headphones. These headphones require less power than those, not because they actually do, but because if you turn them down, the things I'm complaining about, that like the over brightness of detail, it's like investing yourself, just mellows the fuck out. You want to put it on a doobie, lower it down. Take it down 20% from where you like to listen, because they're so sealed and quiet, you don't have to blast them. I think it's sunset now. I told it to tell me when the sunset was happening. The lower I make them, the better they sound. Every time I turn this down, and I just get to a point where I'm like, isn't this really low? Yeah, but it's an earmuff. You can't hear the outside world. You'll get used to it. It takes a while, and God knows it takes a while for me to learn anything. This is where these shine. When you play them, oof. This is Michael Andrews slipping away from the Donnie Darko soundtrack. If you never saw Donnie Darko, wait till it's like 2 a.m. Make sure everyone's asleep in your house and watch it while sleep deprived in front of on your computer, like I did. And it'll live with you forever in the bunny, man. Oh God. You know, everything sounds better. I think that's it. I think I came to that conclusion just now during this review, because I listen as much as I can listen, and I try to get my thoughts together, and then I sit down and I basically, this is me sitting alone. You realize I'm alone in my house right now, yelling at a corner, not even at a person. At least if there's an anime girl there, I'm like, hey, I should have a conversation with her about these headphones. That'd be a little bit creepier. You could ask me to do that, by the way, if you're a patron or subscribe, you could pay me to do shit like that. But I think I just have an argument with myself. I'm trying to convince myself of one thing or another. Convince yourself that these are way better than you ever remember them ever. And they are better. But now convince yourself why they're better. I'm still discovering shit. And just lowering it down, just because it's like, oh, I'm doing the review, I can't have people hear it, I now know why these are better headphones than a lot of other headphones. Because when you play them quietly, and it's just like, to me, that's hardly playing. But they're so quiet, and you get so intimate with it, and your senses heighten. It's like when you go into an anechoic chamber, and all of a sudden you could hear your heart beating. This is basically an anechoic chamber for your head. So just lower the music down. Just get it right. It's like the Klipsch heresies. Klipsch heresies, I complained up and down that the tweeters are too bright and they had no low end. But if you play them quietly enough, like they're intended to be played, they're perfect. Because they're not playing loud enough that you'd ever feel that bass anyway. And the horns and the big 12-inch all work in perfect harmony. Only when I put them on my fucking surround sound and I'm like, I want to die, does everything go out of whack. So my advice to you, if you have these, is turn them the fuck down. Just turn them down. Turn them down. And let them get used to the sound and listen to them like that. That's when these become an $1,800 fucking headphone. When you're like, oh my God. So actually, this is the best headphone I own, because this headphone actually rewards you for listening to music quietly. Not many things do that in my life, and I'm a person who should be listening as quietly as possible to prolong the years as long as possible, as they are a dying thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this review, and I'm going to put away the LCD X. As much as I love it, I just want to turn that up. I'm going to keep these out for a couple more days because I want to turn these down. I'm going to plug them into my Motu M2 up on my desk. I'm just going to turn it down. And I'm just going to I'm going to ride the wave of quiet, quality music. If the pad was a little bit bigger, you just sleep in these and it'd be perfect. Wonder how quiet I can get it before I'm like ignoring it. Because I was listening at 70 and now I'm at 30 on medium gain. That's it. That's it.
Me that's denied and unknown to be revealed.
It's Dexter soundtrack. I'm done. I'm going to quietly end this video. Thank you, Mimic Cable, for sending me things. You'll get something back, maybe. See, that's the thing, though. Would I keep this for that, put them on someone's head and fucking ruin their day? Or would I keep these for actually using just to be quiet? So quiet. That's the thing. Now I'm going to get on my phone and I'm going to tell the $10 patron chat, because if you join my subscribe to our Patreon at $10, you get into behind the scenes private Telegram chat where they know these things arrived, because I sent pictures when they arrived, and they want to know every week. Or somebody was like, hey, didn't you get those? What do you think about them this week? What did you try them on? And I will tell them constantly what I'm doing. And now that I've made the review and I've finalized my thoughts, this is it. I'm going to put these away. And I'm going to put these on my desk, and I'm going to use them for a couple more days, quietly. Just when they had that blackout, these would have been perfect because the generator was going brrr. Just put them on and lower it down and just ride it out. Support this channel if you actually give a shit. The algorithm's a pile of garbage. Thank you, YouTube, for being the worst at writing algorithms. So if you want me to continue making videos, and this is a serious request now, Patreon and Subscribestar will keep this channel going. Since views have dropped 40% in 1 month. Algorithm things, just algorithm things. $5 a month lets you see these reviews early. Oh, they've ruined the ability for like alerts to tell you that I've made videos. If you've noticed that, please tell me in the comments if you made it this far. So you'll guaranteed to get an email every time I release something on Patreon or Subscribestar. You'll also be able to see these reviews early. You'll be able to participate in yard sales. So if some company sends me something, I'll ask Mimic Cable maybe if they want to leave the pads. I could yard sale the pads, although I'd probably end up keeping them to try them on other things. But any other equipment that I get, it's on that giant pile of stuff to do. My to-do list table will end up in the yard sale from the 1st to the 10th of every month. I ship for free continental United States. It's half shipping international. So if you're an international viewer and you want to buy stuff that's not available in your country, sign up to the Patreon. Sign up to the Subscribestar, whichever one's easier for you. Put in a bid on something. If you put in the bid, if you bid what the item costs in America, then all you're basically paying is half shipping, which I have a UPS business account. So it's the most I've ever had to pay during COVID was $300 for a pair of speakers to England. Fucking Brexit and COVID ruined England. Now it's better. But yeah, so that's a reason to sign up for that. Again, the $10 chat exists. You could pay more than $10, and I just think you're cool. Or you could PM me more than I'll sort of like allow PMs. I don't prefer them because then I have 75 different conversations going on and I lose my mind. Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum exists. For all your like less YouTube commenty, more like settle down and meet the people sort of thing. I have a Discord. I have a public Telegram on top of the private Telegram. And there's also a lifetime Telegram that if you've donated enough over the lifetime of you being a patron or Subscribestar subscriber, you go in there. That's it. I think I'm done. This is another one of those 50-minute reviews that, you know, the algorithm hates these because no one watches them all the way through. My average view time is like 6 or 7 minutes. When was the last time you saw a 7-minute Z review? Who the fuck are... Because that means that's the average. That means people start it for 1 minute. And then people start it for 12 minutes. And that's the average of 6. My videos are all 23 minutes long. What is happening? Anyway, wallpaper available in the description. She's the teacher from Ruby. She's a little crudely drawn. But that's fine. Because that little screw there, that's like her crude drawing thing is right there. And I'm glad I figured this out. And that's why I'm whispering. Because I honestly... Sometimes I just want to be in the quiet. That's these. And sometimes I don't want to be quiet and fuck people up. And that's these. And sometimes I want to say see you in 2 days. And that's these.